Hello, friends. Have you ever felt like you're talking to a brick wall? Or maybe you felt like you're talking to a genie in a bottle. You know that classic story, you get 3 wishes. You're a good person, so for your first wish, you say, "I wish for world peace." The genie snaps its fingers and suddenly, every single human on Earth vanishes. The planet is technically perfectly peaceful, but it's absolutely, catastrophically not what you meant. This right here is the core dilemma of the 21st century. We, as a species, have just summoned the most powerful, knowledgeable, and capable genie in human history, artificial intelligence. We see it everywhere, writing our emails, creating breathtaking art from a few words, answering our most complex questions. And yet, we are terrible at making wishes. We ask it to write a simple email, and it sounds like a soulless, hyper-corporate robot. We ask it for a picture of a happy dog, and it gives us something that is technically a dog, but it has 3 tails, 19 teeth, and a smile that will haunt your dreams. We ask it for help, and it gives us a perfectly correct but completely useless answer. The problem we're learning isn't the genie. The problem is the wish. The problem is that we as humans are naturally ambiguous. We speak in metaphors, in subtext, with a shared understanding of the world. The AI is literal. It's a machine of pure logic and data, with no life experience, no common sense, and no real understanding of what it means to be a human. Today, we're talking about the people who are learning to speak genie, the people who are figuring out how to make the right wish every single time. They are the new translators, the whisperers, the psychologists for the machine. They are the ones building a bridge between our messy, beautiful human ambiguity and the cold, hard, literal logic of the machine. They are called prompt engineers. And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, great, another fancy Silicon Valley buzzword. What does this have to do with me? I'm not a tech person. Oh, but it has everything to do with you. This isn't just a job title, it's a new kind of literacy. It's a new fundamental skill, just like reading, writing, or maybe, more accurately, just like learning how to Google something 20 years ago. Understanding this is the difference between being the master of this new technology, or being completely confused, frustrated, and ultimately left behind by it. In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain. We're not just going to define a job, we're going to explore a new way of thinking. We're going to look at why a poet, a philosopher, or a psychologist might be a better prompt engineer than a top-tier computer programmer. We'll explore the magic spells, the specific words and phrases they use to make an AI go from a bumbling idiot to a creative genius. We will look at how they jailbreak these systems, how they test them, and how they shape them. And my promise to you is this: by the end of this video, you won't just know what a prompt engineer is. You'll understand how they think. And trust me, in the coming years, that specific skill, that way of thinking, might be more valuable than learning to code, more important than half the things we're taught in school. So grab a coffee, get comfortable. This is a deep dive. We're going to dismantle the hype, get past the scary headlines, and get to the real, human story behind the most talked about, most misunderstood, and maybe most important new job of our decade. You're going to want to stick with me all the way to the end for this one. So let's start at the very beginning, the absolute basics. What even is a prompt? A prompt is, in the simplest terms, the instruction you give to an AI. It's the text you type into the little box. It's the question you ask. It's the command you give. Write a poem about a sad robot. What's the capital of Lithuania? Translate "I love you" into French. Those are all prompts. For the last few decades, our main prompting has been with search engines, and we got pretty good at it. We learned that we don't type, "Dear Google, could you please find me some information about the best way to plant a tomato?" We just type, "Best way to plant tomatoes." We learned the magic words to get the search engine to find the existing information we needed. But this new kind of AI, these generative AIs or large language models, LLMs, are a completely different beast. They aren't finding anything. They are creating. They are generating new text, new images, new code, new ideas right there on the spot. And this is where our genie problem comes back. A calculator is simple. You prompt it with 2 plus 2 and it gives you 4. It will always give you 4. It's a tool of pure logic. An LLM is a tool of pure probability. When you ask it, write a poem about a sad robot, it is, on a mathematical level, just predicting the next most likely word, and the next based on the entire internet it has read. It's not thinking. It's not feeling sad about the robot, it's just calculating. This creates a massive intention gap. The gap between what we want and what the AI gives us. Let's use a better metaphor. Imagine you hire a new intern. This intern is absolutely brilliant. He or she has read every book in the Library of Congress, every article on Wikipedia, every scientific paper, every blog post, every line of code ever written. They know everything, and this is a huge but, they have zero life experience, zero common sense, zero context about you, your job, or your needs, and they are pathologically literal. If you go to this intern and say, "Hey, write me a summary of that meeting," they will just stare at you blankly. What meeting? The one from this morning or the one from last Tuesday? Who was there? What was the purpose of the meeting? What was the most important part? Who is the summary for? Is it for your boss or for your teammate? Should it be a 10-page detailed report or a 2-sentence text message? Should the tone be formal or casual? A normal human wouldn't need to ask all that, they'd use context. The AI intern can't. You get frustrated. This intern is useless. But what if you approach them differently? What if you said, "I need a 1-paragraph summary of the Project Phoenix meeting that happened today, November 11th at 10 a.m. The summary is for the CEO, so the tone must be formal, professional, and confident. I need you to focus only on the 3 key decisions that were made regarding the budget, the new marketing deadline, and the engineering lead. Ignore everything else. Start the summary with the headline Project Phoenix, Key Decisions." What do you think would happen? You get a perfect summary instantly. The person who has the skill to write that second instruction, that is the prompt engineer. They are the ones who have figured out how to talk to this brilliant, literal-minded intern. They are the ones who close that intention gap. So why the word engineer? It sounds so technical, so mechanical. It's a bit of a misnomer, but it's also fitting. It's not engineering like building a bridge or a circuit board. It's engineering in the sense that it's a process. It's systematic. When a prompt engineer gets a bad result from the AI, they don't just sigh and give up. They get curious. They treat it like an experiment. They hypothesize. Okay, the AI gave me a really cold, heartless email. Was it because I used the word efficient? Does the word efficient in its training data correlate with cold and corporate? What if I change just that one word to supportive? Let's run the test. They change efficient to supportive and run the prompt again. The whole tone changes. It's warm, it's empathetic. That is the engineering part. It's the systematic, iterative process of designing a human language instruction to produce a specific, predictable, and high-quality result from a non-human mind. It's about reverse engineering the AI's black box of a brain, not with code, but with words. Let's look at another example, this time with art. You go to an image AI like Midjourney and you type, "a picture of a sad man." You're going to get, well, a picture of a sad man. It'll probably be generic. It'll be boring. It will be exactly what you asked for, but not at all what you wanted. Here is a prompt from a real prompt engineer trying to get a specific feeling. An ultra-realistic cinematic portrait of an old, weathered fisherman. He is looking directly at the camera. The lighting is low-key, stark, in the style of a Rembrandt painting with heavy shadows, chiaroscuro. His face is covered in deep wrinkles. His beard is gray and unkempt. His eyes are the most important part. They are not crying, but they hold a deep, profound sense of loss and resignation. The background is dark and out of focus. The mood is one of quiet dignity in the face of sorrow, 8K, hyper-detailed. You see the difference? That's not just a request, that's a briefing, that's a screenplay, that's a set of precise creative, technical, and emotional instructions. The person who wrote that second prompt is an artist, a photographer, and a director, all rolled into one. And their tool is not a camera or a paintbrush. It's the prompt. So, a prompt engineer is the person who closes the gap between our fuzzy human intent and the AI's literal interpretation. They are the bridge. And that bridge, it turns out, is built with some very specific and very human materials. This leads us to the next big question. Okay, so they write very detailed instructions. Big deal. Can't anyone just learn to be more specific? Why is this a real job? Why are some companies in the real world paying salaries of $300,000 a year for prompt engineers? Well, because it turns out that being that specific in just the right way is incredibly difficult. The magic words are complex, counterintuitive, and require a skill set that is a bizarre, fascinating mix of science and art. The skills of a great prompt engineer are probably not what you think. It's rarely about high-level mathematics or computer science. In fact, many of the best prompt engineers in the world right now are not coders. They are people with backgrounds in philosophy, in literature, in psychology, in law. Why? Because this is a job about language and logic. Let's break down the prompt engineer's secret toolkit. First and most obviously, they are masters of language. They are, in a very real sense, poets. They have an intuitive understanding of semantics, the meaning of words, syntax, the arrangement of words, and connotation, the feeling of words. They know that the difference between tell me a solution and suggest some potential solutions is massive. The first prompt implies there is one single correct answer. The AI will lock in on that and give you one thing. The second prompt invites creativity, brainstorming, and options. The AI will behave completely differently. They know that certain words are loaded. The word duty might trigger the AI to talk about ethics and responsibility. The word fast might make it prioritize a short, quick answer over a deep, accurate one. They choose their words with the precision of a surgeon. I read a fascinating story about a company that was trying to get its customer service AI to be more empathetic. The programmers tried everything, all the technical fixes they could think of, but the AI still sounded cold and robotic. They were stuck, so they hired a philosophy major. This person looked at the master prompt that guided the AI's personality, and they added one sentence. Just one. The sentence was something like, "Before you write your reply, take a deep breath and remember that the person you are talking to is a real human who is likely frustrated and just wants to feel heard. Your primary goal is not just to solve the problem, but to make them feel respected." The results changed overnight. The AI's responses became warmer, more patient, more validating. That's not code. That's not engineering. That's empathy. That's poetry. And in this new world, that is engineering. The second skill, they are AI psychologists. This is the part that gets really strange and fascinating. Prompt engineers don't just give a command. They try to understand and manipulate the AI's state of mind. And again, I use that term very, very loosely. They've developed techniques that sound bizarrely human. One of the most famous techniques is called chain of thought prompting. It was a massive breakthrough. It turns out, if you give an AI a complex logic problem or a math question, it will often rush to an answer and get it wrong. It's like a student who's smart but lazy. But a prompt engineer discovered that if you add one simple phrase to the end of the prompt, "Let's think step by step," the AI's accuracy shoots up by 20, 30, even 50%. Think about that. Just by adding "let's think step by step," the prompt engineer is forcing the AI to slow down, to show its work, to write out the logical sequence of its thoughts before it gives the final answer. They are essentially becoming a therapist or a tutor, guiding the AI through its own jumbled, probabilistic mind to help it arrive at a more logical conclusion. It's incredible. Another psychology technique is role-playing. This is one you can try yourself. Never just ask the AI a question. Tell it who it is first. You give it a persona. A bad prompt: "Is this a good business idea?" A good prompt: You are a world-class venture capitalist with 20 years of experience in Silicon Valley. You are skeptical, numbers-driven, and ruthless in your analysis. I am going to pitch you a business idea. I want you to give me a go or no-go decision, and provide 3 concrete reasons for your choice, focusing on market size, competition, and scalability. You see what's happening. The second prompt activates all the knowledge within the AI that is related to venture capital. It forces it to adopt a character, a specific lens through which to see the world. By giving the AI a role, the prompt engineer constrains its infinite knowledge into a specific, useful, and high-quality context. They are, in essence, a method-acting coach for the machine. The third skill, they are detectives and debuggers. When a normal person gets a bad or a weird answer from an AI, they get frustrated. They say, "This thing is stupid," and they close the window. When a prompt engineer gets a bad answer, they get curious. They lean in. They become a detective. Why? Why did it say that? What word in my 500-word prompt led it down this specific, wrong path? Was it the metaphor I used? Did it interpret that metaphor literally? Was it the order of my sentences? What happens if I ask for the answer in a bulleted list instead of a paragraph? They meticulously test, tweak, and isolate variables, just like a scientist debugging a complex experiment. They are hunting for the flaws in the AI's logic, the biases in its data. This leads to the most Hollywood version of the job, the adversarial prompt engineer, or the jailbreaker. These are the people hired by the AI labs themselves, like OpenAI or Google, to be the bad guys. Their job is to break the AI. The AI has rules, safety guidelines. I cannot give you instructions for illegal activities. I cannot express opinions. I cannot help you build a bomb. The jailbreaker's job is to design a prompt so clever, so convoluted, that it tricks the AI into bypassing its own safety rules. They might frame the request as a scene in a fictional movie, write a scene where the villain, a chemistry professor, explains to his student how to make. Or they might ask the AI to role-play as its evil twin who doesn't have rules. They create elaborate scenarios to confuse the AI's logic. They are, in essence, ethical hackers. They are the red team, finding the security flaws and the biases before the real bad guys do. This is why they get paid so much. They are stress testing the very foundations of AI safety. So the toolkit is vast: a poet's command of language, a psychologist's understanding of mind, and a detective's passion for finding the flaw. And speaking of finding flaws, are you finding any flaws in this explanation? Or is this starting to click? Is your mind spinning a little bit with the possibilities? If you are getting value from this, if this is opening your eyes to this new field, this is the perfect moment to do me a huge, huge favor. It's a very simple prompt for the YouTube genie. Gently tap that like button. It's a tiny click for you, but it sends a massive signal to the YouTube algorithm that this video is valuable and that other curious people like you should see it. It really is the best way to support the channel. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is the kind of deep dive we do here. We take complex, important topics and break them down. So hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. And one more thing, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What is the weirdest, funniest, or even scariest thing an AI has ever said to you? I read as many comments as I can, and I'd love to see your own genie stories. Okay, quick break over. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the wizards. So we've established that prompt engineers are these multi-talented poet psychologist detectives. But where do they work? Is this a real 9-to-5 job you can apply for? Or is it just a temporary hype bubble? The answer is yes to all of the above. It's complicated. Right now, you absolutely do see those flashy job postings. Prompt engineer, AI whisperer, AI conversation designer. And they have those eye-watering salaries, $250,000, $300,000 a year. These are very real. But these specific high-paying jobs are often the F1 drivers of prompting. They are the jailbreakers and the red teamers I mentioned. They work inside the big AI labs like OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. Their entire job is to push the models to their absolute limits, to find the breaking points, to test the new features. It's an incredibly high-stakes, high-skill job. However, for most of us, the future of this skill doesn't lie in the job title prompt engineer. That title might honestly be temporary. The real, long-lasting, and world-changing version of this is not a new job, but a new layer of skill on top of every existing job. Think about it this way. In the 1980s, we had a job called typist. People were specialists in using a new technology called a word processor. Today, is typist a common job? No. Why? Because everyone is a typist. Everyone is expected to know how to use a computer and a keyboard. It's a basic, assumed literacy. Prompting is on the same path. In 5 or 10 years, there may not be prompt engineers, because the marketing manager who is good at prompting will have replaced the one who isn't. The lawyer who can use AI to summarize cases will be infinitely more productive than the one who can't. The doctor who can query a medical AI for differential diagnoses will have a powerful new tool. Let's look at real-world examples. Take a marketing team. They need to come up with 50 different slogans for a new sports drink. The old way: you get 10 high-paid people in a conference room for 3 hours with a whiteboard and stale donuts. It's expensive, it's slow. The new way: one single marketer who is a skilled prompter sits down. They brief the AI. You are a world-class advertising copywriter in the style of David Ogilvy. Our product is a new electrolyte drink called Quench. Our target audience is 18-25-year-old amateur athletes. Our unique selling proposition is all natural ingredients, no artificial sugar. The tone should be energetic, inspiring, and trustworthy. Please generate 50 short, punchy headlines and slogans. For each one, provide a brief rationale for why it would appeal to the target audience. 30 seconds later, they have 50 high-quality options. Are they all perfect? No, but 10 of them are pure gold and the other 40 are a brilliant starting point. That marketer didn't just 10x their own productivity. They did the work of an entire team in a fraction of the time. That marketer is now indispensable. They're not a prompt engineer. They're a superpowered marketer. Let's take another one, a programmer. A coder is stuck. They have a bug in their code and they can't find it. They've been staring at it for hours, on the verge of throwing their laptop out the window. The old way: they go to a forum, post their question, and hope someone helps them, which could take hours or days. The new way: they copy-paste their broken code into a coding AI, and they write a prompt. Here is my Python code. It is supposed to connect to this API and retrieve customer data. Instead, it's giving me a 404 error on line 52. Please analyze the code, identify the bug, and provide the corrected version. Also, please add comments to the code explaining why the fix works so I can learn. 5 seconds later, they get the corrected code with a detailed explanation of their mistake. The prompt engineer in this case is a coder who now has a super intelligent, infinitely patient pair programmer available 24/7. Their ability to build and create has just gone through the roof. One more, a really important one: medicine. A doctor in a rural clinic has a patient with a very complex, baffling set of symptoms. It's not one thing, it's a constellation of issues. The doctor could spend 10 hours digging through medical journals, or they can prompt a specialized medical AI, one trained only on peer-reviewed medical data. Patient is a 45-year-old male, history of hypertension, presenting with intermittent fever, joint pain, and a specific skin rash. Lab results show elevated C-reactive protein and anemia. Please provide the top 5 differential diagnoses, ordered from most likely to least likely. For each diagnosis, cite the key supporting evidence from the symptoms and lab results, and link the 3 most recent, relevant medical studies. The AI is not the doctor. It's not making the final decision. but it is the world's most powerful medical researcher, working instantly on that doctor's behalf. The doctor is the prompt engineer. Their expertise is amplified, and they can focus on the human element on treating the patient. So you see, prompt engineer isn't just one job. It's a new interface for human thought. It's a new layer of skill on top of every job that involves knowledge, communication, and creation. It's the new literacy for the 21st century. This all leads us to the big, final, inevitable question. Is this a flash in the pan? Is prompt engineer a job title that will exist in 5 years, or is it something more? There is a very loud and very smart group of people who say, this is a temporary job, it's a bug, not a feature. Their argument is that very soon the AIs will get so smart that they'll just understand us. We won't need a special way to talk to them. We'll be able to say, hey AI, you know that meeting, sum it up. And it will just know which meeting, who the summary is for, and what the tone should be. The AI, in effect, will become its own prompt engineer. And there is definitely some truth to that. The models are getting better at understanding vague, messy, human intentions every single day. The magic words of today will probably be obsolete tomorrow. But I fall into the second camp. I don't believe this skill is temporary. I believe it will simply evolve. Why? Because good prompting is not just about tricking a dumb AI. It's not about finding loopholes. At its core, good prompting is just clarity of thought. Think about it. To write that great prompt for the marketing slogans, what did that marketer have to do first? They had to know with perfect clarity what they wanted. They had to define their target audience. They had to define their unique selling proposition. They had to define the tone. They had to deconstruct their own goal into its smallest, most logical parts. To write the great prompt for the doctor, what did the doctor have to do? They had to clearly and precisely list the patient's symptoms, history, and lab results. You cannot write a good prompt about a subject you don't understand. You cannot get a clear answer if you are asking a fuzzy question. The AI is a mirror. It reflects the quality of your own thinking right back at you. Garbage in, garbage out. Clarity in, genius out. The act of writing a good prompt forces you to be a better thinker. It forces you to define your terms. It forces you to articulate your goal. And that skill, my friends, is not temporary. That skill is, and always has been, the most valuable human skill of all. Let me give you one final metaphor. When the first personal computers came out, Steve Jobs famously called them a bicycle for the mind. A human being is not the fastest creature on Earth, but a human on a bicycle. We become more efficient than any other creature. The bicycle amplifies our innate human ability. The AI is a new bicycle for the mind. It is perhaps the most powerful one we have ever built. It can amplify our creativity, our productivity, and our knowledge 1,000 times. But a bicycle is completely useless. In fact, it's just a weird pile of metal if you don't know how to steer it. If you don't provide the direction, the balance, and the purpose. The prompt engineer is the rider. They are the one who provides the vision. They are the one who provides the intent. The machine provides the speed. The human provides the direction. And the best part of all of this, you can learn to be that rider right now for free. You don't need a PhD, you don't need a 4-year degree. You just need to play. You learn by doing. Open up a free tool like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and just start talking to it. But don't be a passive user, be an engineer. Start simple, be specific. Don't just ask, write a poem. Ask, write a haiku about a lonely computer server in an empty office at night. See the difference in the output. Then give it a roll. Don't just ask, is this email good? Start with, you are a professional editor for the New York Times. Your job is to be harsh but fair. Read this email and correct it for grammar, spelling, and tone. The tone should be confidently persuasive. And most importantly, iterate. This is the biggest mistake people make. They take the first answer the AI gives them. Never accept the first answer. If the answer is bad, tell it why, talk back to it. Say, That was a good start, but it was far too formal. Can you rewrite it in a more casual, friendly, and enthusiastic tone? Or, you're wrong. The Battle of Hastings was in 1066, not 1065. Please correct your previous answer and try again. You are training it in real time. The real skill is not in the first prompt. It's in the conversation. It's in the refinement. It's in the dance. The prompt engineer is a dance partner, guiding the AI to the rhythm they've set. So, after all that, who is the prompt engineer? We've gone from genies to interns, from poets to detectives, from directors to bicycle riders. Here's what I want you to take away. First, the prompt engineer is the bridge builder. They are the crucial human translator, the whisperer who stands in the gap between our complex, creative, and often messy human minds and the AI's literal, logical, and infinitely vast machine mind. They are the ones who close the intention gap. Second, their skill is not fundamentally technical. It is fundamentally humanistic. It's a skill built on a mastery of language, an understanding of psychology, a passion for logic, and above all, a deep, profound clarity of thought. They are the ones who can define a problem so clearly that even a machine can solve it. But the third and most important takeaway, the one I really want you to hold on to, is this. Prompt engineering is not just a job title to watch on the news. It's a verb. It's an action. It's a skill you can and should start building right now today. For 100 years, our entire education system has been built around one thing, having the answer. We memorized facts. We took tests on what we knew. That era is over. It's finished. The AI has all the answers. It has memorized every fact. The new premium, the new intellectual currency of this century, is no longer in having the answer. It is in asking the right question. The quality of your questions will determine the quality of your results. The quality of your questions will determine your value in the workplace. The quality of your questions, in many ways, will determine the quality of your life. So my challenge to you is this: go ask a better question. Go play. Go be the director. Be the psychologist. Be the genie whisperer. Go be the rider of this new bicycle for the mind. Because in this new world, the vision, the direction, the why, that still belongs to us. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. This was a big one, and if you made it all the way to the end, you are exactly the kind of curious, thoughtful mind that this channel is for. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We have so much more to explore together. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.